Hello and welcome to our place in Sicily. Today we're going to walk you through what's starting to happen at the Palazzo. Let's take a look. As you may remember, we've already showed you what's happening in Flex Room 2, but coming in today, I see we've got some tools here. The water, they're definitely working. We're going to go into Flex Room 1, flip the camera around, and show you what has happened since last we chatted. So it's lunchtime here at the Palazzo, which is why I can be where all the work is happening. As I mentioned before, I didn't want to be in here while they were removing all of the debris, which has been removed. Also, to orient you, up here, through that sunny shining through the door, the sun shining through the door, you can see Galileo, my daughter's room, and the soon-to-be newly painted ceiling of my other daughter's room. And they have also removed all of the wood beams that were in these holes. They've tied on the mesh, which they couldn't do before because it was in the way, or the wood posts, beams were in the way of actually covering this. They've already done upstairs. You can see it's had a fresh coat of the cement mixture that holds the mesh on. So they'll do that here. You can also see that this wall is a little proud. It comes in a little bit from the upstairs wall, which is interesting. First time I've noticed that. This is a doorway to an ensuite bathroom. And that's a doorway to an ensuite bathroom. They're both places I need to get into to measure, but can't right now. So I'm being patient. And it's interesting, the dimensions of this room. We took out a wall that was basically right where I'm standing. So if you draw a direct line, there was a wall here that divided the space. At one point it didn't divide the space. So, you know, like any house that's built in the 1860s, things change over time. But this is a really high floor. I mean, you can see where the next floor starts. And this window ledge, this is one of the windows we're going to lengthen by lowering it. If I walked over there right now, I would say I'm 5'9", that's probably at 5'3". So it starts very high, which makes it feel like a basement. So we're going to add about, I would say 18 inches below it, which will make this feel much more like a cool, high-ceilinged space. And from this end, you can see that's where we would walk into the kitchen, where we've spent some time recently. And then this room to our left, well, there's really not much light in here except for this one little window, this wee window. But we can get in here now to remind you that this is going to be a full bath. We're going to put the shower against that back wall, and then build a little half wall, I think, and put a vanity and then a toilet. And then there'll be a wall that will sort of zigzag so that we can get this window into the bathroom, which is difficult because, let's see if I can show you here. It sticks out to the right side of where we could put a wall off of this. So we'll sort of zigzag because we want that light in where it could be used all the time. And the rest of this hallway will not be used to hold a refrigerator, but will be our side entry in case we ever want to do events here, or just to have another exit out of the house on the side of the house. And we think this old piece of furniture, which looks like it has served many functions, and maybe it was repurposed. I mean, it almost looks like a headboard, but we think this has been used as a wood bin, and then it was just sort of a catch-all. I really should go through it because there's a bunch of, there's some tools, but also some old terracotta bricks. Everything looks the exact same color, even that beer bottle. There is no actual floor in here. It's just dirt. So we can't save this floor. But yeah, we can finally get in here now, which is great. You can see some of the old electrical. I just want to point this out because we are actually putting in some new stuff that the switches look like this, which I think is really cool, but are modern. Don't be afraid. And I love this shot because you can see all the way through Flex Room 1, through the future secondary entryway and into the main entryway of the house. And they're ready to go. It's pretty exciting. So I maybe hear the truck coming, so I'm going to hop off now and maybe show you some footage from above. We are now hiding out in what we were going to use as a coat room, but what we've determined needs to be a mechanical room and then partially divided into a secondary entryway. We're going to actually close this door, but also leave it open. So we're building sort of a little art niche moment in this opening that will service the main entryway. But we're going to put a faux door here so that we can access this first sort of 2/3 of the room. Excuse the dangling electrical cords. The first 2/3 of this room for a mechanical room. We have some water boilers that need to go in here. We've decided to do solar, which is very exciting for us. So we will be eventually able to go mostly off grid with our electric, which is really important for a house like this. Our electric bills are going to be high. So we have to have inverters and batteries, electrical box, and some water boilers here. So I've shown you briefly this plan, but let's pop it up now and you can see kind of what we're thinking. I think our original plans will work, the size we are allotting for this space. We use about 2/3 of this main room, and then we use our side door to get in and out. And then we build sort of just like a little mudroom secondary entryway into the rest of the ground floor. And on the opposite side here, we have the bathroom, which we are tucking underneath the stairs in this closet with a really interesting archway. So I'm just basically hanging out in here for a minute because this space is about the space of the secondary entryway that we're going to have, but we're going to just shift that over. So I'm going to spend some time thinking about how this space feels, because we still haven't designed really that entryway. Where do we want a closet? I want a secondary closet in case we rent this out. I want to be able to lock our closet and leave the other closet open. I want to be able to sit down and put on shoes. I want to be able to have a place to put shoes. I want a place to set my keys. So many things to think about. So that's what I'm going to do now. So one of our best purchases we've made is a tape measure in centimeters. I'm getting pretty good at my metric system, but I find myself still knowing, like, when I measure something like this, it's 8 inches, but when I do it with my hand, it's 21 centimeters. So I highly recommend this, and don't wimp out and get like a 3-meter one if you're building a house. Even this 5-meter one has come up short for us a couple times. Even though no room we have is bigger than 5 meters. So I'm feeling pretty good. Again, I've mentioned this in a previous video that if you can mark out your space that you're going to be creating in another place. So say you want to build a closet. If in wherever you're living, you can tape out that closet, measure it, set a hanger in it to see how much room you're going to have with the hangers, how many pieces of clothes. Go measure your closet that you're currently using and see how many hangers you can get inside. Is that big enough? Really making it 3-dimensional can bring the design to life and save you money, headaches, and honestly, more headaches for your architect who is tired of redoing your plans for you. So I'm good here. Time to see what else is new. Another thing I'm trying to figure out here is what exactly are we going to do with this old cast iron oven? We have lots of pieces, and most of them we're not going to use again. So we can get rid of that. We got to find a place that gets rid of iron, and then we need to figure out how we're going to make this a cool new usable space. And part of that is measuring everything up and designing something new. We have this one box, which was the oven. And we have these other doors. Now we're looking at this from the back side, but I know that this was a door into a place where they lit the fire, and then the ashes were cleaned up from below. This has the same thing. This, I'm not really sure. I think maybe a secondary oven. Ashes were built in those. There's 2 of those that were here. And then there's sort of this other lower version of a grill. It's really interesting. They must have been able to sort of pick and choose the different segments they wanted. And then over here, we have a great big door, which I broke off the handle at one point, and we haven't found the handle. And, but I think we can use that for, we're going to put a sink over that section, and the rest will be split up between counter, and in the very middle, we'll be putting our 6-burner range. So that's pretty cool. We just got to figure out how we want to do this. I think our next step is to take this to an auto body shop that's going to go ahead and basically remove all the rust. You may have seen our video where I started doing a lot of that work, and actually more paint, removing paint, but they'll do that. On the other side is all paint, a little bit of rust on the back side, clean it all up, seal it, and then I think what we're going to do is build sort of metal boxes on the back of these, but they could also be wood. So we'll see what we decide to do for that. I just wanted to point out these little hooks are what were put into the wall of bricks that they built to set this onto. So they essentially built a brick oven, put the front on it to make it last the test of time. And now we're going to make it last even longer. And I love all this random piping, the old water boiler, all these little bits are things we don't need. But I might save this brass handle, but not that old bra that cannot disappear. Well, I mean, it can. I'm okay. You can see all of the beams they removed. I'm going to see if we can try to salvage some of those, maybe use them for furniture. Still a lot of rubble. They filled up one dumpster with the second half of the inside this week that I was not here for. But We basically told them not to remove any of the wood posts yet, beams, and these guys, because I have some carving to do. But the rest of the stuff are random pieces of wood. And the 3 wheelbarrows and all of that stuff, that can go. Don't take my tiles. They must stay. Here we are on the laundry terrace or the kitchen terrace or whatever you want to call it. And I just wanted to introduce you to my lovely vineyard. So I cut these branches all down to basically here. So this is where I cut this one. And then that forced growth at the nodule below that and here. And so basically all of this, what was left was just these little branches. Cut it off here, it starts growing. See if you can see that. It starts growing right below it. So now I think I need to tuck these in, but the coolest thing ever, and I don't think I ever noticed this, ever saw it at this stage, is I believe those are our future grapes. Isn't that cool? Okay, I know that's not cool for all the people who know how grapes form, but it's cool for this little Detroit suburb girl. So we've got a lot of them popping up on here. I think I'm gonna have to do some research. These guys are bigger. On what to do next with these, because they have all of these tendrils, and I think ideally I want to start moving them down and along these branches so that they can grow in an orderly fashion. Right now they're just reaching up for the sun. This is the first time these really had been well pruned because of when we owned the spot and when we were cutting them back. Wow, I'm pretty excited. Who knew? Who knew? Next year, guys, I'm making wine. And so the work continues. Until next time, ciao, ciao.